Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I will be analyzing the company of MGO Global, which is expected to go public this upcoming January 12, 2022 in the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol MGOL. As always, my aim with these videos is to analyze the most relevant aspects of the company based on their SEC filing, and afterwards, if you're interested, if you find the company interesting, you can go and you should always go and do your own due diligence on it. Nevertheless, before I go into the analysis, let me quickly give you a short overview of the main topics that I will be covering today. So first of all, I will give a short overview of the company and also its business model, followed by a quick look at the industry and competitors. Then I will move into the financials, followed by the IPO price and valuation, and finally I will be giving my personal opinion on the company and also my future plans with it. With that said though, and after I remind you that if you enjoyed the video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could give it a like, and please also consider subscribing to the channel if you also want to see more IPO videos. I haven't done many in the past because there haven't been many IPOs, with the market being how it is. But with that said, let's dive into it. MGO Global was founded in 2018, so quite recently, to leverage the fame, celebrity power and global social media influence of world-class athletes, entertainers and other cultural icons. This is a very cheesy sentence that they have, which doesn't tell much about its business, but don't worry, as we'll go into it right now. Basically, at the moment, they only have one brand, which is the MESSI brand, launched in late 2019, so about 3 years ago. The MESSI brand is linked to the famous football player Lionel Messi and basically sells sporty casual wear, accessories and home decor. If you want to check out the products, you can do so in their website, which is called the MESSI store. But summarizing, we are talking about the fashion sportswear brand, which is co-designed by Lionel Messi. Personally, I wouldn't buy any of the products as I find them expensive and in terms of look also not the nicest. And the cheapest t-shirts are about 34 euros and the cheapest pants 58 euros. According to the company, the online store has had so far 3.2 million unique visitors worldwide, and it is also worth noting that the social media reach of the brand is very large, basically because Messi has around 345 million followers in Instagram and also in many other platforms, and the Messi store Instagram has 1.5 million followers. They calculate that there are around 400 million fans of Messi worldwide, and out of these, around 70% are men and 30% are female. So we could also assume that the brand of, let's say, MGO Global, and in this particular case Messi brand, targets mostly men. This data is from October 2022, before the World Cup started, and since Argentina won the World Cup together with Messi, it is likely that the number of fans have even increased worldwide. On operations, basically everything is outsourced and they do mostly just direct to consumer through their website, and they are not really doing wholesale, although they do mention that this is something that they are exploring. The company has only currently 4 employees and 17 freelancers working for them, and to understand the company it is also important to talk about the license agreement with Lionel Messi that allows basically the brand to operate and to use their name and all of that, because it has huge implications. However, we will discuss it in a moment when we go into the financials, as I feel like it's more relevant to discuss it there. In terms of industry, the company operates within the fashion industry, as we mentioned earlier, which in 2020 was valued at $1.5 trillion globally. However, although the total addressable market is huge, the company, as we will see now in the financials, is still very small and has a huge amount of competitors, so I also don't feel like it's so relevant to know that the total addressable market is that big. Going into the financials and starting with the income statement, we see that the company grew sales about 26% between 2020 and 2021. But so far this year the performance doesn't look great, and we don't know how they did on the last quarter of the year, which was also during the World Cup and when Argentina won it. But until September 30th, 2022, sales were down 39% year over year. Personally, I don't think that they will have made more money this 2022 than last year, but who knows, since the World Cup was a big event and of course Argentina won, so maybe, being optimistic, probably they have reached the same amount of sales as they did in 2021. On the bottom line, the company has been reporting huge losses, which have been every year larger than sales. So essentially it is extremely unprofitable and also very far away from becoming profitable. And the cash flow statements also show the same, with the cash burn from operations having increased from $175,000 in the 9 months ended September 30th of 2021 to $1.1 million in the 9 months ended this past year, 2022. The balance sheet is looking horrible. Less cash and assets and more liabilities than in 2021. In fact, the liabilities went from being 2 times the value of assets, which was already very bad, to now being 6.7 times larger than assets. Basically, if the company were to shut down right now and try to sell all of their assets to pay the liabilities, they wouldn't have enough money to pay for all of the liabilities, all of the debt that they have basically. It is true though that after the IPO they will raise around $5.8 million, which will improve significantly the balance sheet, at least for now. And I say for now because unless they do something about the profitability of the business, which we saw it earlier on in the income statement, this situation will repeat again in a few months or years, and they will have to again either dilute more shareholders, which means issuing more shares, or they will have to get on more debt. Normally at this point I would compare the financials with competitors, but I think that in this case it is pointless since the company is extremely small compared to all the other competitors that I could compare it with, which are publicly traded, and also has had a very poor performance in the past. Instead, I would like to focus more on the agreement that MESSI has with the brand, which in my eyes it is really bad for MGO Global. The current license agreement, which was signed in November of 2021, lasts until the end of 2024, so for about 3 years, and in the agreement, MGO Global agrees to pay a total of $4 million net of taxes to Leo Messi as royalties during the period. This is essentially $1.3 million a year paid to Leo Messi. And just as a reminder, remember that up until now, the company has never been able to generate more than $1 million worth of sales per year. So basically, Messi is earning more every year in royalties than the brand is able to generate in sales. Really crazy. I would also like to highlight that there was already an agreement in place before it got modified in November of 2021, and the reason it got modified was because Messi asked for a change in conditions. Basically, I believe that he asked for more money. This is really bad from an investor point of view when investing in MGO Global, because all the power within the brand is just on Messi. So Messi is the one with the power. If Messi were to do something that would damage his own reputation, the brand of MGO Global would suffer. Basically, it would go bankrupt for sure. And if Messi wanted now to terminate the contract, which is expiring in 2024, so this license agreement, he could technically do it because there are several clauses that allow him to do it, and this would also put MGO Global out of business. I also didn't see anywhere in the agreement mentioning that Messi will get shares of the company as compensation instead of maybe the real royalties, to have him maybe more aligned with the brand and not just be getting paid cash. But to me it seems that Messi just cares about himself, about making money, and doesn't care at all about the brand of MGO Global. The salaries of management are also way too high in my opinion. The CEO currently earns $118,000 per year, and the Chief Design Officer, the one making the designs of the products with Messi, is earning $103,000 per year. Between both of them, they already make $221,000 annually, and remember that last year the company only reported in sales $880,000. So 25% of the sales generated by the company are going to pay just the salaries of 2 directives. No wonder why the company is so unprofitable. Anyways, let's go now into the IPO price and valuation that they are seeking. At the moment, the company is expecting to go public at $5 per share, and in its IPO there will be 1.5 million shares being issued, but also existing shareholders will sell around $2.6 million worth of shares. On valuation, based on the total amount of shares outstanding after the offering, the IPO price and the sales of last year, they will be trading at a price to sales ratio of 76 times, which is crazy expensive. In case you're not familiar with it, price to sales ratio already of more than 10 times are not advised, and this is proven by historical data. So whenever you buy a company for more than 10 price to sales ratio, the likelihood that you will lose money on your investment is very high. Basically because for such price to sales ratio, the company would have to be growing at 100% year over year or at very high rates for a very long period of time. But in the case of MGO Global, we see that between 2020 and 2021, it only grew about 26%. And this year, so far what we know, the sales didn't even increase. So they declined, at least for the first 9 months. So really, really crazy expensive. If the IPO is successful, this would put the total value of the company at $67 million, while they are not even generating $1 million of sales annually. My opinion, I think that you already know it, but I would not be touching this company at all. Out of all the IPO analysis that I have done in the past, this company is the worst by far, I think that in this company the only person making money is Lionel Messi, which has an abusive contract which makes him a lot of money, but in terms of investors it is really poor. Also, they are in a very bad position, so MGO Global, the company, is in a very bad position because Messi has all the power. And for me, this whole IPO is just based on the fact that Argentina and Messi won the World Cup just recently, and the company is trying to capitalize on it since there is still quite a bit of hype and so on. And also, not just that, but additionally the company doesn't seem to have many options since they are basically running out of cash and burning a lot of cash with their operations because they are extremely unprofitable. On top of that, we also have that Messi is already 35 years old, which means that he doesn't have many more years to play before he retires, and I think that maybe the sales can still do relatively okay while he's playing, but after he retires, the sales will probably just keep dropping and dropping more. So summarizing, I see many red flags and I will for sure not be investing in this company. I didn't mention this until now, but MGO Global is expecting to replicate what they did with Messi and the Messi brand with other celebrities. I understand their strategy, but if they sign agreements as bad as the one they signed with Messi, I am not confident at all that having more brands will help in any way the company do better. In fact, based on what I'm seeing, I think that the company is very likely to go bankrupt at some point in the future. It might still take a few years, but if things don't improve drastically, I definitely see it going bankrupt. Anyways, please remember that everything I shared in this video is just based on my opinion, my research, and my calculations, which of course could be wrong, and you should always do your own due diligence whenever investing in this or any stock. With that said though, what are your thoughts on MGO Global? Will you be investing in it? Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and as always, see you next time.